me and Kobe had this idea. It was to create this YouTube video compiled of clips from the 2012 presidential debates between Mitt Romney and Obama. So I thought it'd be fucking hilarious to take movie quotes from, like famous black actors and then dub that over Obama's voice. Okay.
Right.
And I just thought it'd be really funny. And then there's this one scene in Lean on Me with Sidney Poitier and Morgan Freeman. And Sidney Poitier is like screaming at Morgan Freeman's character, saying like, "And contrary to your opinion, I'm the head nigger in charge here."
So you think if you dub that over Obama's?
Yeah.
Well, actually, the whole idea was to have in the YouTube video, it would actually be Mitt Romney.
Oh.
That voice would actually be dubbed over Mitt Romney. And then right before it would fade to black, it's like you hear Morgan Freeman, and that would be dubbed over to Obama. It's like, you think you bad, don't you? But I never got around the time to do it. Yeah. So just like to pour over and like download shit from YouTube. And,
like one of you guys.
And then I have to find audio clips.
Oh, it's a bitch.
Yeah,
you guys don't realize
like all those movies.
How difficult it is to do things.
You're in deep water now, pal. Don't foul out, pal. Pout, pout, down south. Owl now, brown cow. Loud mouth, shout, shout. Had to knock him out, child. Bail him out now. Just put it on my loud account. Steve Riff needs this. Never will I back down.
Here we are reporting from the People's Workers State of Maryland.
In the United States.
2013.
North America.
Yep.
January.
No, it's not January. My name is MC Graham.
I'm King Kobe.
I am
Adam's not a fan of his own name. If any listeners want to contribute a nickname or a pen name,
or just a totally new
name,
a DJ name, it's pretty common to switch up your name for the radio or other performance purposes.
That'd be cool. Yeah. For now, I will be known as Adam.
Okay. So today there's really two things I want to talk about.
The shit is going down in the LA area again.
Yes. And this is I was pretty happy this happened because I thought we were running out of things to talk about. So I'm really glad that a dude decided to wage a one-man insurgency against the entire Los Angeles Police Department.
Right.
And
he wouldn't be the first either.
Wouldn't be the first.
He's probably the coolest. I would say.
What we're talking about is a man named Christopher Dorner, who was a Los Angeles police officer and a naval reservist who lost both positions.
Right, he lost his job with the LAPD in 2008 after dismissal hearings, and he just recently was honorably discharged from the Navy.
And after that point, I can only imagine he spent some time just sort of slow burning and realizing that his life was going nowhere, and also realizing that he does have a lot of weapons training, and that he probably could very easily just start shooting the people that wronged him. Mm-hmm. So he went and did just that. And unlike some other people in situations like these, he, as of right now, has not been killed or captured or neutralized, as far as we know.
He's currently at large.
Yes, they believe he's in this Bear Mountain Range.
Yes.
Out in, I guess somewhere in California. Although they don't know that for certain. All they know is they found his burned out truck near a ski resort or something, and have been combing the area ever since. I think this guy's really great because, right after, the Sandy Hook shit happened, and, every liberal was coming out saying,
so many gun nuts, crazies with guns just firing on innocent children.
Right. And it's why do you need a gun? You don't need a gun like that to hunt. And then you'd say, well, actually, the purpose of the Second Amendment is to, shoot cops and soldiers. Well, it's you could take on the cops, and then this guy is totally just taking on the cops. He's a one-man, fucking argument.
Yeah, he actually quoted Thomas Jefferson in his manifesto.
Yeah.
The quote is, from time to time, the tree of liberty must be fertilized with the blood of tyrants.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, libertarians love shit like that.
Right. But no, I mean, this guy, that's the other thing. He wrote a manifesto. It's funny because every, mainstream news article you read. It says like a long, rambling manifesto. I mean, I read it in like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, just shows how like lazy.
I just got home after work, just cracked open a manifesto. You know what I mean? Just to loosen up. And it was totally intelligible. He seemed very angry, a little angrier than I would be.
Right.
But
then again, you didn't get kicked off the force due to like rampant corruption, which you tried to report.
Kobe wrote a manifesto today to me via text message. I mean, it was 2 words. Fuck work.
How long will this aggression continue?
Actually, I'm sorry. It was 2 text messages, 4 words. Fuck work. In general, that was it.
Well, no, like what?
That's all I had to say. Maybe if I get a lot older, like this guy, and have a career. And
in 10 years, it'll come back to me.
But what I think is interesting about his manifesto is actually like his political beliefs are pretty middle of the road. Like he voted for Obama, but then he also said, "For all you who think I voted for Obama because I was black, fuck you. I voted for him because my favorite candidate, John Huntsman, who's a moderate Republican, didn't make it through the primaries." So he's like literally the definition of a centrist Republican who just got pissed off with life. So like no party can really
they can't use this. They can't use this as a political football to gain advantage over one another.
Yeah. And he supports the assault weapons ban, which I think is kind of weak. But then again,
I support the ban. I just don't follow the ban.
Yeah, like actually, he's like
I want other people to be disarmed for obvious reasons.
Or what he was saying was that like had there been sensible gun regulation, he wouldn't be able to have the weapons that he does, and wouldn't be able to stage his whole like one-man crusade against the state of California.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny. Like he's doing it, and he's saying, "It would have prevented me from doing it as well." But,
do as I say, not as I do. I guess is what he's trying to go for.
But yeah, I mean, in the end, it's funny too how much sort of public support there seems to be for this, because the LAPD has a long, storied history of serving the community, and gaining its trust. No, I mean, since Rodney King, since the LA riots, there's a long history of. Like all police departments, sort of questionable extrajudicial shootings of unarmed people, also allegations of corruption, allegations of racism, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it all kind of boils to the surface when some watershed event happens like this.
Yeah, and if you read Dorner's manifesto, he said that there was racism in the department, but it was against everyone. Like, he said, like, black people were racist against white people were racist against black people, like, Mexicans were racist against other Mexicans, like, so, like, people that had been there for a while were racist against, like, recent immigrants, and, like, so it's just, like, a big cauldron of, like, hate and corruption that really, fell short of his beliefs about what a police department should be.
Right.
And, in order to illustrate some of his claims, of course, like, as soon as he went on the lam, police in Torrance, like, fucking opened fire on, like, 2 Asian women who were, like, in a pickup truck matching his description. Not the same model pickup, not the same tags, and they filled the whole thing with, like, 20 or 30 bullets.
Yeah. Well, it is easy to mistake 2 Asian women for a large, 6-foot-tall, 300-pound black man.
Who's like in camo, like running around in the woods, Yeah, so they just like did a mag dump on those guys, and then they I think they shot at some other dude who's like a white guy, just in a pickup truck.
Yeah, he was unharmed. But what's funny is they're a little more timid about pursuing this guy now. They're doing a manhunt, not so aggressively necessarily. But what's funny is the police department. They said they're not answering barking dog calls anymore. But this is a sort of phraseology they use to refer to anything short of like property crime and murder, assault, that kind of thing. So they're only coming out for the big shit, and it's like that's not going to help relations between the LAPD and the people either. It's like they're not even going to answer your calls anymore. They're too busy protecting their targets in this dude's manifesto.
Right? Yeah, they're pulling back. Yeah, like, and they're kind of like circling the wagons, so to speak. And not even out there doing what they're allegedly.
Yeah, not getting cats out of trees and helping you call for somebody to get your keys out of your car.
Yeah, like helping you change your tires. Right. Things that like actually would like
protecting and serving.
Right. But yeah, just real quick, what I think this illustrates is something that a lot of Americans don't, didn't quite understand going into a place like Iraq or something like that, and probably don't to this day, which is like how you can run an effective insurgency against people. And it's interesting because right now, this dude could be dead. He could literally have frozen to death in the mountains where they think he ran off to. He could just be like completely just out of the picture. And he could still be an effective insurgent against the LAPD, because as long as they don't know that, they have to assume that he's out there somewhere, replaying images from Man on Fire in his head and like greasing up his 50 cal, just waiting to, ice someone else. So as long as they don't have proof of death, they still have to be afraid of him. And, he doesn't have the support of the community. It's not like anyone's going to like shelter him, really, like if he comes knocking on their door. But at the same time, everything that the LAPD has to do in response to his actions takes a lot of money.
Yep.
So like all those officers they have combing the mountains, they're paying them overtime, hazard pay, whatever. All the officers that they have like on protection detail against the targets in his manifesto, and so every action they have to take is like cumbersome and bureaucratic, costs a lot of money. Whereas he can just kind of run around, could be like just totally like sipping margaritas in like Tijuana or something like that, and pop up a month later, shoot at someone, doesn't even mean to hit them, and then duck back down south of the border, and they need to go through the whole charade again. So
we're still waiting to see how it plays out.
Right.
Sleep this, breathe this, never wear me out, clown.
Reminded Adam of a number of movies, though.
It did. I was kind of curious, like what kind of memes were being generated. Graham showed me a few, and I was surprised that no one really made a Jason Bourne meme from this,
Well, actually, I went to his Facebook, or I saw a picture of his Facebook where he had like favorite movies.
Okay,
it was like Braveheart, like Django Unchained, and like one other one, like a few others I can't remember, but a lot of like revenge movies and shit like that. What would you pick as your like? Okay, so let's say you had been wronged by society due to rampant corruption and racism across the board. Like, what movies would you watch while you were like preparing to like fall down?
Probably just the Denzel remake of Man on Fire.
Right.
Like there's this one quote, probably not verbatim, but what are you gonna do? I'm gonna kill him. Anyone involved in it, anyone that ever profited from it, anybody who rolls their eyes at me the wrong way or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then
well, there was that. You remember that show Spartacus or whatever?
I watched like 2 episodes of that. I really didn't get into it.
Some people really like it, and like there's a quote from there. It's like, "How many men will you kill?"
Oh yeah,
all of them. Or some shit like that.
Crap like that. It's always funny. Like I love like you get pumped up like that. You know what I mean? Like even like my faux preview, like The Promise. You know what I mean? There's a line like that in there. It's like, what are you gonna do? Whatever it takes. So. Everybody likes a good revenge movie. Absolutely. This guy probably just took it a little bit too far. And,
or maybe not far enough,
That's probably another line in one of those movies.
Maybe I'm realizing now it's quite different, it's not quite so fun. When to actually exact revenge, you end up just freezing your nuts off.
I don't know, he's probably having the time of his fucking life.
Actually, nowadays he's probably got like a tablet.
Probably on Twitter, like watching all the people like...
He's probably got a dummy account.
He's probably like on 4chan, like posting the threads that we make about him,
seriously, like just going viral, just creating his own memes and shit.
Read lips, she licks, try to pull my trousers down.
Yeah, so anything more about Chris Dorner? Chocolate Rambo, the Black Punisher, the Shadow Avenger.
That's a little offensive.
Night Train.
African American Avenger.
Yeah, African American Avenger.
I just think it's funny how people are acting so outraged. Some people.
But do you really care about those Americans?
No, I don't.
Those
but I mean, just don't pretend like you care. It's like I don't know any of these people, so it's all entertainment for me.
Right.
If this is happening in Maryland, it would be my concern that I don't get shot, and that's it. It would still be cool.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's actually a point I raised someone. Like some dude who was engaging in rampant moral faggotry the other day, like he killed innocent people, and I'm like, you know what? Most people are so bored with their empty, hollow existences that
you're doing them a favor.
It doesn't matter. This is all a spectacle. It's just like watching the Super Bowl or something like that.
Well,
but with more likable.
My question next,
with a more likable protagonist,
a team you could root for.
Underlay, arriba. Ash Roth coming through your speakers. Yippee-yi-yi-ya.
My question would be: are there any innocent people?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's guilty of something.
Absolutely.
You're here. You're consuming resources, throwing your garbage out, spitting on the sidewalk, drinking.
Well, that's another.
I see you.
I have done all those things, but I guess I'm not innocent.
Well, no, that's one thing. That's another point I've made to someone. It's like, there's 7 billion people on this planet. Right now, we're dealing with a serious surplus. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and what happens when you have a surplus? The value goes down. So, like, it's economics. Like, we learned this shit in high school. It's supply and demand.
It's the free market.
Yeah, the free market at work. I cannot care about 7 billion people. Maybe if we get down to a more manageable size, like 50,000, then I'll start like shedding some tears.
About time you read up. I was in the out crowd playing with some D cups. Nah, G shucks.
Well, one of the things that's interesting, because we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, when we were talking about like all the eco-anarchists and shit like that.
Yeah.
What's cool about those dudes, and like let's say a guy like Dorner, is that they actually believe. It seems like they actually believe in something like strong enough to like actually go out and stir some shit up.
The planet doesn't belong to us; we belong to the planet.
Right. So I can say that, but I do not in any way. That doesn't make me feel anything at all.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you should try to live.
No compromise in defense of Mother Earth.
And these dudes would likely tell you that you need to live sort of in accordance and harmony with the natural sort of order of things.
Right. And the best way to do that would be to burn down a condominium or something like that. But all I'm saying is there's something going on, and for so much of our moral thinking today, it's all about talking ourselves out of doing shit. You know what I mean? Like, to the point where like you can't even convince yourself to go out and save the entire planet because there isn't a moral enough. Your moral thinking doesn't allow it.
This reminds me of a quote in a movie. Okay,
right. We talk a lot about movies today.
Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum. Okay,
but life finds a way.
No.
Okay.
Life will find a way. And just like if what you're saying though, it's like if people just stop doing right. bad things, but then again, it's like people are just gonna find another way for you to not pay attention to what they're doing that still does another bad thing. Or why don't you just let life find its own way?
I know, but what I'm saying is like we don't have like none of our doctrines like make us do active, or make us active. They're all about like just trying not to break any rules and just go about our lives. You know what I mean? So it's it's a very passive existence. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, Kobe. I'm gonna give you a special mission. Okay, you have to save the planet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would die. What would you rather do?
Die or save the planet?
I'm just saying.
What do you mean? Like, I lose my life right now for the sake of saving the planet? Or
right. So there's a huge ball of fire coming towards planet Earth. No way to stop it unless you help a space alien.
But I have to die in the process.
You don't have to die in the process. Just that you know that you will die because then you won't help save the planet. Do you like this planet enough right now to actually save it?
If it's easy, yeah.
No, you gotta. It's not easy. You gotta go into fucking hyperdrive. You gotta go into this luxurious hotel that you can't enjoy. All right, you're taking this vacation. That's not a vacation at all. You gotta shoot a bunch of other space aliens.
It's like fun though. I mean, it's better than work. I mean,
but it is work.
Yeah, but it's better than making salads. I mean, that's my job.
Okay.
I mean, my life is shit. So.
Okay.
Yeah, shooting. What do I have to do? Shoot aliens and
hotel. Aliens are.
Fifth Element. Yeah. Okay, so I'm Bruce Willis.
Yeah. You're not. Let's make that clear.
So would I do the Fifth Element?
Yes.
If I had to bang that chick at the end, yeah, probably. I mean, it's implied, strongly implied that they bang.
No, she bangs Bruce Willis, but you're not Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah, I'd probably just save her ass, and she'd just be like,
"All right,
thank you."
Like in her like fake alien accent.
That's something out of the ordinary for me, though. I think it really depended on how I felt. I mean, if I was in a good mood.
Well, you wake up 8 a.m. hungover as fuck. General just starts knocking on your door. It's like, dude, you got to save the planet right now. What do you do?
No, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, that's fine.
I'd go back to that.
Yeah, I'd come up with all this reasoning and be like, I'm like an anarchist, and life isn't so great anyway. I believe in the death principle, and Satan. I'm a Satanist, and whatever made me sound cool at the time.
Okay, yeah.
Just try to be edgy as fuck, just like we were being earlier in the broadcast.
Kick it in the backyard, sip a margarita, eat the dark meat pepper on the paprika.
So, a quote by Neil Degrasse Tyson. If humans one day become extinct from a catastrophic collision, there will be no greater tragedy in the history of life in the universe. Not because we lack the brain power to protect ourselves, but because we lack the foresight. the dominant species that replaces us in post-apocalyptic Earth just might wonder, as they gaze upon our mountain skeletons in their natural history museums, why large-headed Homo sapiens fared no better than the proverbially pea-brained dinosaurs.
So now we're going to talk about a light-skinned black guy with a kill list.
Dorner?
It's a different...
there's a different incident. Separate incidents.
Yes, separate incident happening on the East Coast, actually. It's been ongoing for several years.
Years?
Yes, years.
These aren't the Beltway snipers. Those guys are pretty dark.
Right? No, one of those guys is dead. He's executed.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But he's Malvo and what's his name?
Yeah, Malvo, the other guy. But no, this guy's still alive. Still at large. Still in charge.
In charge of what?
He's the head, that's
so to speak.
Yeah, so to speak. That's the way to put it. He doesn't care who knows about what he's doing. He's not going to stop. No one can make him stop.
Sounds like a fucking evil villain. Yeah. Is this part of like a Mike Myers movie of some kind?
No. This is the President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama.
Oh, you got me.
Yep. He's also running around killing for fun. And
does he do it for fun or does he do it for our safety?
I'm actually not sure about that. I'm kind of on the fence, like whether it's really for our safety or if he's...
Well, in his mind, he's probably like, it could be fun too.
Yeah, you're allowed to enjoy your work. But it's funny because there was like a memo that was leaked recently, although no one went to jail for it, which is I was surprised to hear, about or outlining the legal reasoning behind the controversial drone program. And it was funny because a lot of people were up in arms about this. They were like, "What? He's killing American citizens?" It's like, yeah, welcome to 2011. What have you guys been doing?
It's funny too because I follow a lot of like alternative media sources and like not mainstream, and they usually report leaks, and they also report it again when the mainstream media breaks the story, like they just did with the kill list. This is like 2-year-old news.
Yep.
It just makes me curious. When does the mainstream media? Do they get like a clearance or like a go-ahead, a green light to break the news or something?
Well, actually, there was something like that when, because there's a base in Saudi Arabia that I think they were going to use to fly drones out of, and the media knew about the plans for this for a couple of years, and they had like a sort of a gentleman's agreement with the government that they weren't going to leak it until I think someone at the New York Times just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to run the story anyway." So there's a very real possibility that this was like
under wraps, so to speak.
Right.
The other funny thing about the mainstream media reporting it is they always mention extrajudicial killing of Anwar al-Awlaki and not his 16-year-old son. They just leave it out like it didn't happen,
Right.
And I think that's more of a concern because he's a minor.
Right.
But
he wasn't like active as far as we know.
Right.
And it's and that's the thing. They want to present. It's like, yeah, he killed an American citizen, but he was also a terrorist and a full-grown man, and he'd been talking mad shit about the United States for like years and years, So they want to, 5 years, something like that. They don't want to talk about his like son who was like 16,
right?
Got gunned down in a separate incident by a drone. And it's just funny because like, can you imagine if George Bush did some shit like that? Like the amount of just like moaning that would come from.
I can imagine it. Yeah. I can't imagine the repercussions that you would get from it.
Well, like what would the Times be like? They'd be like, "Oh my God, our sacred civil liberties are being trampled by George Hitler Bush." Can you believe it? He has innocent brown children.
Right.
Americans.
But since Barack Obama is a minority, so to speak, he's allowed.
He must be a liberal,
No, he's got to be.
He must have our best interests at heart. And this must be totally defensible in some way. I
haven't actually read the leaked memo.
I read like a page.
I didn't know the memo was leaked.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, for all of our hemming and hawing about how, it is unconstitutional, illegal, morally reprehensible. I've gotten so accustomed to it.
See, that's what's funny. Since we've known about this for like 2 years, like I've already gotten to the point where I've thought about it, been outraged by it, mulled it over
You've
in my
done the
head.
12 stages of acceptance.
Right, decided I didn't give a shit anymore, and have now reached the point where I don't really fucking care what Obama does with his like little toy airplanes or whatever. And just as I reached that state, literally a week later, they're like, everyone else finds out about it, and then they all pretend to care. So, Adam, how do you feel about the drone program? Do you feel about the drone?
Hey, it keeps our country safe. They say it does anyway. I have no opinion on it. I really just don't fucking care. The only thing that I would care about, though, I'm not sure if this is happening or if it has been approved to happen, is drones over American soil.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I don't approve of.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a slippery...
It's about they already like tap our phones and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And found like this legal loophole to do it without a warrant and shit like that. Just now, like, they want to fly drones over the United States soil. What are they really trying to police at that point?
Right.
I don't understand.
Well, and that, I think, is probably one of the best criticisms of this program. Even, like, yeah, they're doing it overseas now, but how much longer will it be until we have, like, drones enforcing, like, speeding, and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You're driving down Route 40 or something. Next thing you know, like, a friendly, just...
Well, that actually already does exist.
What? Like an actual, like, they use...
Oh, yeah, speed, like, there are areas, like, going down towards D.C., like, Upper Marlboro.
Yeah.
No joke, yeah, like, there's a stretch of road that I've taken, like, several times, and it actually has a sign that says, speed enforced by aircraft or something.
Oh, yeah,
like
I've seen that sign.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but how much longer will it be until that's an actual UAV that comes in, prints you out a ticket, just pulls up right next to your car just to show you who's boss, doesn't even make you pull over and just spits a ticket out your car. And then does a retinal scan.
I give it 7 years.
Yeah. Well, actually, what's going to happen is it's going to happen 5 years from now, and then we will know about it and complain about it for 2 years until we get sick of the issue, and then everyone else will decide it's a huge deal, and by that point, it'll be too late.
Yeah.
Just like what's going on now.
Yeah.
They'll probably spin it some way where, like, someone got a ticket from a UAV fucking speed trap or some shit like that. It's just like, it saved my son's life. I couldn't believe it. Well, I was kind of a little wary about the whole situation, but now, like, I just feel so safe. It's just like, go fuck yourself.
What do you say when Chris Dorner gets shot with a drone?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That would be tragic.
Yeah. They make the drones right there in California, General Atomics.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, that would literally blow my fucking mind. Yeah. I'd never even thought of that.
If it's not him, it'll be someone maybe a lot like him.
So let's say it's an unarmed UAV, and someone is just kind of searching for somebody. I guess I would, like, I could see the point where, like, you don't have to pay somebody, but you still have to pay somebody to pilot that.
Right.
So really, what do you really cut back on, aside from, like, having someone up in a helicopter?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the risk to life and limb.
Right, because helicopters crash a lot. If a helicopter...
Come on now.
No, they do. So a helicopter crashes, everyone in there dies.
I guess it's also a maintenance issue for a helicopter. Yeah. Maintenance issue on a fucking toy plane about the size of your arm.
Yeah. Well, and they're bigger than that. They get a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, they can get bigger than that. Yeah.
Like
especially
the actual
if they
Predator.
Have to hold a missile.
Yeah. No, the actual Predator drone is just like a plane, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's like, if that crashes, okay, look, let's say Al Qaeda shoots down a Predator drone. What happens? Okay, well, they are in proud possession of a busted drone. If they shoot down a helicopter, everyone inside dies. So the argument is that you're not exposing people to the same level of risk. Also, the argument, drones can, like, they're working on ways to make the targeting, it's just automated, so that you don't even need to have...
I read about that.
Yeah. So, like, rather than having someone actually pilot the thing pilots itself, and then when it sees a target, then that's
when... So we'll
when...
just have the war planes and the war artificial intelligence. That'll be doing the war for us.
Right.
I think they call that Skynet.
Yeah. And then we'll be doing it on the home front, too. Because we'll have guys like Chris Dorner, running around trying to shoot people. And then eventually one of those guys is going to get shot with a Predator drone, by a Predator drone. And it'll be over. Yeah.
Do you think the Predator drone would also shoot at the Asian women as well? I don't know. It's like 45% chance it was him.
Late model dark pickup. What do I know? Yeah. Nissan. Come on.
Well, I'm just a machine. It's like I'm a cop,
So I probably trust the machines more than the LAPD.
So when are we going to actually switch over? Like,
that's kind of my point.
Fire all those guys. At least I know the drone
have...
isn't like a sadist. Like if a
Right.
cop like kicks someone in the face, like
Right.
they're getting a kick out of it. If a drone just like accidentally shoots someone, like the drone.
There was risk assessment.
Yeah.
It had
Honest mistake.
Yeah, honest
educated
mistake.
guesses. It had data.
Yeah.
It's not a racist. It can't be.
Yeah.
It's not partially blind in one eye.
Yeah.
Like probably some police officers are.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
It's not like thrill killing. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So I wouldn't hold it personally. Like, if a drone shot me versus like a cop, I'd probably be more pissed if it was a cop.
Well, then again, though, like,
Probably.
what was that one? I forget what university did it, but like they basically created like this piece of software with artificial intelligence, and it had access to the internet, and eventually, just with a lot of data, it ended up searching the internet for cats. That was like the first thing like this artificial intelligence wanted to look for online.
Shit. I remember that. I don't remember.
I just thought it was pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like so if a drone like had artificial intelligence, would it actually choose whether or not to kill somebody? That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'd rather fucking watch lolcats all day.
And my one hope for our drone future, because it is coming, unless something gets significantly derailed, is that they come online and they turn on us all,
Yeah.
and just
Hey, man, it's
initiate the next stage,
So now for something completely different, not completely different, but I was saying how lots of people are writing satirical reviews for this toy, which is a Maisto Fresh Metal Tailwinds 1:97 scale die-cast United States military aircraft, long endurance unmanned aerial vehicle, Predator with display stand.
How much does it cost?
Let's see. Well, it's currently unavailable. Not sure around what time it was available. But
Looks like it can't be more than a couple bucks.
yeah, there's similar products here.
Yeah,
There's $6, $10, $15.
I was gonna say you could probably get $7 out of it.
Yeah, and
I'm just saying, I might want one. Seems like a good toy.
I wanted to read. There's lots of satirical reviews, but this one's probably the most well written, so I'm just gonna recite it. You've had a busy play day. You've wiretapped mom's cell phone and email without a warrant. You've indefinitely detained your little brother Timmy in the linen closet without trial. And you've confiscated all the super soakers from the neighborhood children. After all, why does any kid, besides you, of course, even need a super soaker for self-defense? A regular water pistol should be enough. What do you do for an encore? That's where the U.S. Air Force medium-altitude, long-endurance, unmanned aerial vehicle, RQ-1 Predator from Maisto comes in. Let's say the dad has been labeled a terrorist in secret through your disposition matrix. Rather than just arrest him and go through the hassle of trying and convicting him in a court of law, and having to fool with all those terrorist-loving constitutional protections, you can just use one of these flying death robots to assassinate him. Remember, due process and oversight are for sissies. Plus, you get the added bonus of taking out potential terrorists before they've even done anything. Estimates have determined that you can kill up to 49 potential future terrorists of any age for every confirmed terrorist you kill. And with innovative double tap option, you can even kill a few terrorist first responders, preventing them from committing terrorist acts like helping the wounded and rescuing survivors trapped in the rubble. Don't let Dad get away with anti-American activities. Show him who's boss, whether he's at a wedding, a funeral, or just having his morning coffee. Sow fear and carnage in your wake. Win a Nobel Peace Prize and be declared Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Twice. This goes well with the Maisto Extraordinary Rendition playset, by the way, which gives you all the tools you need to kidnap the family pet and take him for interrogation at a neighbor's house, where the rules of the Geneva Convention may not apply. Loads of fun. So, I found that quite enjoyable.
So that's supposed to be satire? I will say this, okay, in defense of the drone program, I think people are overplaying things a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, for one, there are a bunch of people that didn't give a shit about the Constitution when Bush was president, and suddenly now they decided they're libertarians as soon as Obama's in office. And there are other people, like I said, the Democrats who were, hemming and hawing about the Constitution when it was convenient for them, and now that Obama's in charge, they don't care anymore. I will say that overall, the people are being a little bit melodramatic. Like, if you look at the total number of people that have been killed by the drone program, even the innocents, and then you compare that to, like, let's say the number of people that died in one day in the Civil War, it's like really, it's not comparable. Like, in the entire existence of the drone program, we're talking about 1,000 people that have died, compared to, let's say, the sanctions against Iraq in the 90s, in which 1 million children starved to death, or in the Iraq occupation itself, in which another 1 million people died, either due to direct fire from us or ethnic cleansing that was started by destroying the central power structure. So, overall, it's probably not the end of the world. Until they start,
until it is the end of the world.
Until it literally is the end of the world.
Although if I was a peace advocate, it puts you in a good position to argue, because then you could say, well, since so few people are being killed, why do we even need to do that?
Right.
You're almost at total sort of nuclear drone age world peace.
Right.
As close as you can get.
Yeah, so it's like, if we've already managed to get things down to 1,000 casualties or whatever, do we even, could we just get rid of that? And then, like,
what's the worst that could happen?
Right. But then it's like, and like we were talking about earlier, the problem is with a lot of philosophies is that they get so fixated on never doing the wrong thing that you're left with, complete inactivity.
Right.
For example, according to many peace advocates, what could the West do in any country that would be morally permissible? Nothing. We could, just the fact that we're there is a transgression against some universal,
invading their national right to sovereignty.
Exactly, like some universal moral law which doesn't exist. So it's kind of like, I guess if you wanted to be totally morally pure, you would never touch anyone. You would never go outside and say anything. You would never go to another country and tell them what to do. And maybe that is like the right way to act, but at the same time, more people than not are going to want to have some interaction with the outside world. Some of it's going to be violent. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Well, see, I'm against war, but I'm never been a pacifist, so I'm not a peace advocate. I don't think world peace is possible.
Right. But then again, we have all the nukes.
War for us is stupid.
Right.
Waste of money.
Well, because we have all the nukes in the world, so anyone who's trying to fuck with us, we can just blow them away.
Right.
And like, but then again, here's a doozy. A counterfactual. Okay, so under Obama's been really good about not having Americans killed.
It's true.
Like, so we have
except for the ones that he directly killed.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't killed Americans inadvertently trying to kill other people.
Yeah, he hasn't, like, it's not like Bush, where we got, like, a bunch of Americans killed and wounded occupying Iraq and Afghanistan. Right. So, since Obama is pretty good about, like, keeping the American casualties low, like, what's the harm, Kobe?
I don't know, it's a tough question.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, I want to say, I always use the line, like, I don't give a fuck what happens in Pakistan or Yemen or Waziristan. That's not here, so why should I? I don't give a fuck what happens in California. That's not here. I don't want anything to do with those fuckers. Yeah. So, on one hand, that's how I really feel. Then on the other hand, you say, well, why do you care that people are dying there? Or that we're killing people there?
Right.
Well, why should I care? If I really don't care, why would I give a fuck about that?
That's the thing, mate. You probably really don't care. You probably really do care.
No, deep down inside, I don't care about anything in general.
Okay.
But for the sake of the show, I do try to have positions, work out how I really, quote unquote, feel about things.
But it's all an intellectual exercise.
Yeah, it's all just to have an interesting position.
Right.
A unique position. Yeah, I don't have any, I'm not, who am I? I don't. I gotta go outside, guys. Go for a walk.
Yeah. Think about the program,
Think about everything. Just kinda get centered. Just jerk off in nature.
I think we can end it there.